Well, hello, everyone. Happy Taco Tuesdays. Hello, hello. Hola. Seems awfully bright. What's going on with my light there? I don't know what is happening with my light. How is everybody? Good? Hopefully, eating and drinking delicious food during Taco Tuesday. Yeah? No? A little bit? You guys like tacos? Excuse me while I just do a quick adjustment there. Okay, I'm good. My goodness, it is good to see everybody. It is Tuesday, June 20th, and I'm your hostess with the mostest. We are broadcasting live from somewhere in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. And if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, it would be great if you could like and subscribe. I would be unbelievably appreciative. We do have a couple of announcements. So while people gather, we will get my feet in order. Then we will roll out the carpet for the guest. So welcome to the Tuesday show. A quick reminder. We always ask people if we can all be kind to all so that all can be kind to you. It's just something we really stress here. We're here to have a good time. This is a fun party. Please don't hurt each other. So it's just one of the rules we always have to stress. Second announcement: it is June. So we have started a book club to promote books that are specifically the books of people that are part of this community, people who have subscribed and are a part of the community. Please feel free to send your books to me. And then once a month, we select a book for our book club. Not famous books, not celebrity books. These are books that have been written by unknown authors in many cases who would like a little support, and we want to support their dream of being successful writers. And in many cases, these are brilliant writers. They just need a platform, and so we're here to give that to you. Having said all of that, we have chosen a book for the month of June last month. Great mystery murder. We did The Last Thing Claire Wanted. Great book. I enjoyed it very much. Also got a lovely coffee from the author. Kate, thank you very much. So this month, Isabel's Starry Night. You can get it on Amazon. You can either get it downloaded or you can get a hard copy. Next week at 6 p.m. after the Tacos Tuesday show, we settle down after the show, and then those of us who are part of the book club, it's live, it's free. We get together and we discuss the books that we have selected. This particular book is near and dear to my heart. It's about a woman who goes on a journey, a pilgrimage to find herself, and she has a series of adventures. She takes one of these cheap buses that have been refabbed, and she goes on this amazing adventure, and she kind of finds herself. So it's a lot of fun, and she meets some amazing people along the way. It's a quick read. It shouldn't take you more than a couple of hours. And Wanda Webster is a great writer. Also, the artwork is fantastic as well. She gets a lot of help from some really great authors. Some really great artists, and also Richard M. I believe the book is no more than, say, 123 pages, so you could probably read it in an afternoon or a couple sits. So that is the month of June. For the month of July, we have selected our book already. If you would like to get started on the July book, if you've already completed the June book. For the month of July, we have picked a much larger book, a thicker book, and one that I personally am really excited about. This is a really unusual book, and it's been written by Ellen Archer right out of Oregon. unbelievably amazing book. It's called Stay Sober and Save the World the Cave Woman Way. And it goes back to those ancient ideas, pre-agriculture, of how close-knit communities dealt with things like emotional pain, isolation, etc., and how people were able to center themselves and come together in community and basically stay sober. So that book will be our July read. We're still accepting applications for August. So if you do have a book that you have written and you would like us to take a look at it and consider it as part of our August read, please send your book to us to 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon 97201, and maybe one of your books can be selected as our monthly book club selection. So we have that announcement. Final announcement, we have been blessed with a lot of memberships, which really help support this channel. And by the way, the corporate donations have really gone up. So the more that you subscribe and like, the more it draws the attention of corporations that then donate to our fundraisers. And the last fundraiser, we'd been running that fundraiser, I think, for about 7 months. We were able, through corporate donations, to raise $1 million. So I'm very, very pleased with those corporations that notice our humble little channel here, because we aren't a big channel, and do something like that. It just really means a lot to us. All right, so I want to give a shout out to those people who have become members over the last couple of days. Of course, Jean M. Hello, Jean. Sarah Lynn, welcome. Donna Hutcherson, hello, and welcome to Elders and Empaths. Those of you who are at Elders and Empaths, we will be having a mystery school class Wednesday. That's tomorrow at 6 p.m., and we will be discussing various different types of trance states and how to help you in the trance state. We're continuing on in those studies, so hopefully you'll be able to join us if you are at Elders and Empaths, 6 p.m. tomorrow. So welcome, Dana Hutchinson. Also, Sean H. has been welcomed to our mystery school. We look forward to working with him as well, or he, she, they. Also, Omaha Pay, welcome to Fairies and Angels. Jennifer Miller, great to have you. Rejoined Elders and Empaths. Carol, welcome as well to Fairies and Angels. D, Fairies and Angels. Wanda Webster, great to see you. Steph, great to see you at Elders and Empaths. Trix 32, welcome as well. And we'll keep saying gratitude to everybody who comes in. We try to do a weekly acknowledgement of those people who have become members. You do not have to attend live classes in order to become a licensed, certified HCRV practitioner. You simply have to watch the videos. A lot of people have gotten confused about that, or they get frustrated because they sign up and they start to go to the live quarter classes second week or third week. But you have to understand that the classes are constantly rotating and we're constantly adding new material. So you can pretty much jump in at any time. But if you do want to be certified, you do have to attend classes marked 1 through 10 in some fashion. Take notes, and then if you send the notes in, we can give you certification. 3 courses with writing a teaching report, or will give you a license to teach. So, because I know people had asked a lot of questions about healers and empaths, but no, you don't have to be there every week. And I would say that the majority of our practitioners are not able to come live. Certainly coming live helps, but it's not necessary to doing the work. Yeah, good question for those people who have asked. I want to welcome Jean M. to Fairies and Angels. And of course, we love all our fairies and angels, and we are glad to have them with us. Finally, we're now ready. We've got about 336 people. Be sure and tell us who you are. Where are you coming from? What's your story? Tell us who you are, what you eating, what you drinking, what's the weather like in your part of the world? Anything you want to talk about, we can blitz away. No subjects off limits. I think we can pretty much cover anything so long as it's not a private reading. Private readings are held Saturdays at noon for all members, if you do want to get quick readings. Hi, Janice. Janice, good to see you here. Hi, Rhonda Shank. Thank you for being a member. Hi, Gretchen Williams. Glad to have you here. Hi, Anna Hamlet. Great to see you as well. Catherine H., great to see you. TR, welcome. Thank you for the membership. Noel Becker's in the house. Hello. Cindy Johnson. Hi. Claudia Veras, always great to see you here. Carolyn Rossell, thank you for your membership. Debbie M., thank you for your membership. Be grateful, thank you for your membership. I'm grateful to you. Thank you. Marjorie Harrison, thank you for your membership. Geo Cosmic Valentine, thank you for your membership. Jay Sherrill, hello. Olga Pera. Look, Debbie M. is loving tacos, as am I. So, quick question, what's your favorite taco? I will not hold it against you if you love Tex-Mex tacos like the kinds you grew up with in public schools as a baby boomer, because let's face facts, those were the best. I mean, I just love those. It wasn't, what do they call them? What were those things? It was like they took bolognese sauce, right? They took a bolognese sauce. They might have put some cumin in it. I don't know. And they stuffed our tacos with this tomato meat stuff. I don't know if it was real meat. And then they would put this American cheese, right? And then they would bake it and they would give it to us. Remember those? Those of you who grew up in, boy, I love those. I love those and the burritos. Remember when they introduced the burritos in the 70s? And they were trying to create a more varied diet for students in the 70s and 80s. And they actually had us, yes, no, do we like this food? And so we got to, you guys remember this? And so the first thing they served us was a burrito. And they poured some tomato sauce. You remember this? We loved it. We gave it an A+. And then they gave us one of those Tex-Mex tacos with a hard shell. We love it. We'll take more of those, right? I still love those types of tacos. Oh, looks like Libra Lady had a salad with avocado. That's so healthy. Chicken fish tacos for Pamela Doss. Yeah, I mean, tacos that are eaten in other countries that we don't really, pork is not very popular with most Americans in a taco, but in other parts, in North America, lots of people eat grilled pork tacos. It's just not something that most of us eat. We usually will do fish or chicken. Chicken's very popular, maybe beef. As definitely you see dietary differences, depending. Same with tamales. I love tamales, but who eats pork tamales? Who here when was the last time anybody here had a pork tamale? We usually in the West, we'll do a chicken tamale, right? Oh, I love Claudia Veras is having ginger snap cookies. Man, do I love those. Those are one of those things you can't eat just one, particularly if you've got a good cup of tea. I'll just keep dunking. And if it dissolves, if it's one of those ginger snaps that dissolves in your mouth, and it's like, just let it dissolve and just eat the whole thing. Yummy, yummy. Oh, pizza day. Yeah, Fridays are definitely a pizza day. The other thing is that I'm learning to live more like a European, so I shop a lot less. I shop about once every couple of days, and it's always for what I'm going to eat that day. So I've gone back. I've stopped being I'm moving away from the whole preppers. I think that people are moving away from that, and now we're living more like Europeans, which is there's certain things you want to keep in your kitchen if you're a European, but the rule is to have your refrigerator be 60% empty. Otherwise, you're going to have wasted food. It depends. If you are an omnivore in Europe, we would usually have eggs always if you're talking about the bare minimum in the refrigerator, we always have eggs. We always have some type of cheese, bread, and butter, and a little bit of fruit and maybe a couple tomatoes. And that is like always in the house. And then we usually have some rice, spices, and a couple of beans. And that's pretty much the staple of what I would have had in my home when I lived in Europe. And then we just switch it out. And bread. Go get your baguettes every day. Or the nice dark German bread, which will last longer. That's a sourdough. So that's basically how I lived, and I didn't spend any money. So day one, I would look through my refrigerator, and I got an onion and a tomato, and a carrot left over. Also, I have my own garden, which is growing my own greens. So I also have that to add to it. So, week one, I make a lentil soup, right? Because I always have certain dry goods. I might buy a roasted chicken. The idea is that you finish it, you eat that for a couple of days, and then you have some dry goods. You can make oatmeal for breakfast. You always have toast. You can always have toast and an egg. You have your basic stuff when you don't want to cook. Vegans in France, they, believe it or not, eat a lot of tofu. If you're not into eggs, it's the same idea. You just want to have an easy, simple, whip it up. So if you don't want to cook a massive meal, you can just have some tofu or a couple of eggs. Voila, make an omelet. Add some cheese, maybe some toast. You don't have to, you can make a little soup and eat that for a couple days, have a nice lentil soup. The other thing I like about having something, I always would have tomatoes, because if I have cheese, like a mozzarella and sliced tomato, a little olive oil and a little mint or something like that, and a nice bread, that to me is plenty. And then a nice soup. So I've been experimenting. It's now day 20, and I have spent less than $100 in groceries for the month. And I can have whatever I want, no holes barred. If I want to have filet mignon, the rule is you can have whatever you want, but you must not waste. Only take what you need. Only what you need, and your refrigerator must always remain 60% empty. And you just keep switching it up. If you have a couple more tomatoes, also, we always kept pasta. That's the other thing you can always keep in the fridge. Keep some pasta. Pasta, olive oil. Just switch it up. I woke up the other day, I wanted some radicchio lettuce, so I went and got the radicchio. I always have the tomatoes, the carrots. I have my greens that are wild in the garden. I got myself one thing of radicchio. I got a roasted chicken. I had some radishes to use up with grated carrot, a little lemon, roasted chicken, and I made a loaf of my own sourdough. Trust me, I'm not suffering. Yeah, so that I was living on that for 3 days, right? I've got a big chicken, and this I can make tacos, I can make whatever I want. I even can make, because I always keep flour, I can make my own burritos. So yeah, I love the independence. I love the simplicity. I love the fact that it's not large meals, but it's whatever you want. If you want a little soup, go make yourself a little soup. If you want to have a baguette, go get yourself a baguette. But never waste, and never have a full refrigerator. Always the refrigerator should be other than the bare minimum and whatever you selected to have to eat a lot for the next couple of days. If you do that, you'll slash your grocery to nothing, because you'll only be eating what you want and you're never wasting anything. You'll be shocked at your grocery bill. You're like, what the hell have I been doing? You've been shopping like an American and wasting probably half of it, right? We throw half. I was throwing half my stuff out because I would buy $150 worth of groceries. I can't eat all these vegetables. Half of them would rot by the time I got to them. Then I remembered how I learned to live in Europe. Just take un petit pot. Take a little bit. I always keep a little egg, and they're not suffering, and there's no stress. You go and stay at your auntie's house. You're tired. She brings out the camembert because there's always cheese. She brings out the bread. Slice a few tomatoes. Whip up an omelet. No one's suffering, right? All right, when I get the order, we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. Please don't judge me. Yes, I am on 2 different medications, in case you're noticing that it's more quiet than usual. Please do not judge me. I did it. I broke down. I couldn't take it anymore. I was trying to do it naturally. I gave up. Just when the doctor gave it to me. Prescription Afrin. It worked. I couldn't take it anymore. All that coughing. All right, let's do a blitz, blitz, blitz. Yeah, It's also a different way of thinking when you're in France or if you're in any part of Europe, is that you go in and the refrigerator is empty, except you'll see maybe milk, butter, cheese, eggs, a couple tomatoes, maybe some grapes. It's like, what the hell? Are you impoverished? No, we're going shopping today. We're gonna get a chicken and camembert, and we're gonna do a grilled chicken dish tonight. You want to join us? It's like, oh, that's how you do it. Like, why would you have more things in your fridge when you buy what you're gonna eat? Oh, like I'm a typical dumb American. Oh, it's not in your fridge because you're not going to eat it. If I'm going to eat it, I go and get it. Then I eat it. And then when I'm done eating it, I go and get some. Oh, this is how slow we can be sometimes as Americans. I don't know. Good for you, Kathleen Malley. Do it the old-fashioned French way, 60% empty. If your refrigerator is not 60% empty, then you are overspending. You're buying too much stuff. It's a very different way of thinking. It's not the way most of us think. I think a lot of us have PTSD around food for all kinds of reasons in America. You know, not enough food to eat. Many of us were poor immigrants or came from poor families. We come to America and there's all this food, and but we also, in terms of when you just compare us to Europe, we are wasting far more food than the typical European, and there's a reason why. You just don't. Even the size of a, have you guys seen the size of a refrigerator in the average apartment in Paris? It's half the size of an American refrigerator. You don't need, why do you guys have to buy so much stuff? I mean, I can understand a couple dry goods. That's probably what they're thinking. But it's just a different way of living. And I was really thinking about it the last few days because I couldn't believe my grocery bill. I wanted chicken the other day, an ice cream, something else. I think I spent $13. And it took me forever. I've still got more than half that chicken in the refrigerator. This is what I'm saying. I keep thinking I need to go spend money, but they're literally, I've got chicken, I've got grapes, I've got watermelon slices, I've got tons of dry goods. You know, I boiled some black beans. That's another thing I've been doing. I've been just taking beans, any kind of bean, and soak them and boil them. And don't do anything else to it. And just rinse them and keep it in the fridge. That way you've always got a simple protein. And you can just take it, throw it in a salad or something like that. Or you can just buy cans of it if you can't be bothered. And just keep a couple cans of chickpea. Again, don't overshop. One or two, so that you always have, the idea is a quick protein of some type. Otherwise, you're going to get hungry, tired, and you're going to want fuel, and you're going to start munching on sugar or something. But I always tell people, have a protein that you can just go to. A can of tuna is nice. I had a can of tuna today. I noticed when I was going through my refrigerator, and Mila always likes to have a can of tuna. We try to get one about once a month, so that's what we did. All right. So 45's trial was set for August, according to Stephanie. That's interesting. Do you think any of this matters? I mean, like, I'm far more interested in finding out who this guy is who was meeting with Justice Thomas, because that to me is a nightmare, because it kind of falls into that category of the paranoid shadow government, doesn't it? That to me is more interesting than some mentally ill guy that got used as a tool by the shadow government. We're all obsessing about him, but I hate to sound paranoid, but who's this guy meeting with Clarence Thomas discussing what's on the docket? I didn't hire him. I didn't elect him. And I personally think my human rights are pretty gosh darn important. So I'd like to know why you're meeting with Justice Thomas to discuss the docket. That to me is more interesting than some mentally ill guy that's clearly no longer a threat. You know? Kathleen O'Malley, take some of the chicken diced with celery, onions. Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. And I also have a few grapes left. I have about a third of the container of the grapes, so I might throw in some grapes. Yeah. I might have some gorgonzola cheese. So I could also, and I always have like nuts, walnuts around. So I could go and get an apple and I could make a Waldorf salad too. That's what I mean. If you have a little bit of the basics, you just need to buy one or two things and then you can whip up a Waldorf salad if you want one or something like that. I think I have a little bit of gorgonzola left. A little bit. Got to check I bought that last month. I still have half my camembert, typical French woman, right? Half my camembert, because I learned from a French woman, you buy the camembert, you take it out, you unfold it, you slice this part that you're going to eat, you wrap it up, and you put it back in the refrigerator. You let it melt to temperature, you take some grapes, whatever you're going to snack on, and that's your snack. And then, again, you just portion what you need and take it. Trump's lawyers must be going crazy. Yeah, they are. Thomas's billionaire buddy Crow. That's what I want to look. Thank you. Thank you for helping me, Joel. I want to also say that Joel Tilson is our man with the microphone. If any of you have a question and you feel like I'm not seeing it, just go to Joel, and he usually makes sure that I can. And another thing Joel's really great at is he consolidates questions so that if 10 people are asking a question about a particular subject, he can bring it together. All right, so let's look at did we do the empath prayer? Did we do the empath prayer? I need help. I need to get me like a producer or something. Yeesh. Oh, I did not. Thank you. I didn't know. Okay, so we're going to do the empath prayer, then we'll blitz away, and then we'll do Jill's question. Thank you, everybody. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and Joel as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower Joel to empower all of us on our journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. Start praying for thinking about Joel. All right. Billion. Okay, thanks, Joel. Billionaire Buddy Crow. Let's find out what the story is with him. It's not like the aristocrats. See, this is the thing. Americans are not supposed to have aristocrats. But of course we have aristocrats if you have this kind of if you have this kind of power discrepancy, that's the very thing that the founding fathers were afraid of, right? It's, it really does have an aspect to it of shadow government in the sense that there's a part of them that don't want this to be public information. If they'd wanted it to be public information, what Crow was up to, what Thomas and Crow were up to every year. I mean, this is a nightmare for me. I mean, I don't know how you're all handling it, but this sounds to me like a freaking nightmare. I just feel exposure. I feel like the thing that they don't want is to be found out. I think these kinds of meetings, the fact that money, and I mean, this is just so horrible in every possible way. He took bribes. He was paid to roll things over. It's so bad. It's just so bad. It's just so bad. There is this kind of exposure that's starting to happen that the Justice Department sees itself as separate from the Supreme Court, but it is in the power of the Justice Department if somebody has broken the law to be investigated. So you have the Justice Department doing some kind of investigation into all this, what Joel Tilson's talking about, the dark money, the hope and the fear. See, This is what I've noticed over the years with the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles, if you read books about the tarot, they'll talk about it being a family inheritance card. But that is a real that's really not the full story with the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is a card about that has a very dark aspect. Deceit, lying, cheating, spying, dirty little family secrets that we don't want getting out into the public, right? That's disturbing for me because it's almost as if this individual perceives of himself as part of the family, right? Like we just love Jesus. We're the family and we're helping these politicians. That group called the family. So this group of people that is part of the family that is meeting together privately and doing these things, it's the family secret. They see themselves as a family. Corruption, money, bribery, the flim flam man. I try not to think about it too much because my hair screams because I feel so disempowered by it personally. But everybody looks at this stuff differently. But I personally, particularly when you look at what people like John Adams sacrificed to give us a democracy, and they're just shaving away at it, these trillionaires and billionaires, because they have the power to do whatever the hell they want. I just see a new beginning in the power struggle, but it's exposure and sanitation, New beginning with the Justice Department. Bribing the Constitution. This is the Constitution card, the higher ethos of the land. What is the law of the land? What is the law of the land in the United States? The Constitution, right? So in a question about ethos of the land that we are all committed to, right? If we're working in law, what is the ethos? The higher ethos technically would be the Constitution, which is the law of the land. So that's why when I'm doing this type of a reading, I always perceive of the Hierophant as the higher ethos that binds people together. Here's the problem when you think about the Hierophant as being the reason why you get on the Supreme Court. The problem is that the higher ethos or constitution has been bribed or compromised by financial corruption. The ethos, the constitution, financial corruption. The arrogance goes back to that whole idea of power, right? Yeah, I agree. Regulate. There's something happened with the passengers of the Titanic? I don't understand the question. Are they missing? Interesting point, Rose Blue. hmm He may just be a tool for the right. Do you think that they've got something on Thomas and that's why he's compliant? Why do you think Thomas put himself at this type of vulnerable position? Right, the family. See that documentary on Netflix? He has to protect the family secrets, right? Hurricane season. Let's see here. Hmm. Delilah Gillis is talking about the hurricane season, and the other thing, if you have too much stuff in your fridge, and a hurricane, if you don't have a, but let's take a look at the hurricane season. I know Texas was going to be hit because gave a reading to somebody in Texas, and they were talking travel, and the Knight of Swords was right over her. And I looked at that and I'm like, oh my God, your weather is terrible. And 2-3 days later, Texas got hit like it's been hit now. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Your looks terrible. Well, this is kind of interesting, actually. There's a lot of scientific work going on, excuse me, in terms of just monitoring weather patterns. There's also this feeling like the scientists are very in touch with what's likely going to happen. You have this karma card over the weather, fortifying. There it is again. A break in the dam. Flooding. This is a flood card. Talk about weather. It's been showing up lately in my readings as a flood card, like when the dams break. People leaving, dams breaking. Bad weather until very bad weather and possible flooding in some parts going on until April. A lot of rain. Let me see if I can get specific areas for you guys. The feds are putting a lot of money into protecting against global warming. Army Corps of Engineers, a lot of activity. The billions and billions of dollars that are being spent appear to be a lot of it on levee systems. Here's the feds. Here's the breach, the work because of the breach. See the work carrying the load? Here's the breach. Hopes and fears, flooding, patience, rebuild, balancing the water. You see the balancing of the water, the flooding. Final outcome for this year. 9 of Pentacles would indicate that we're getting really, really, really good in the coming years at protecting ourselves. That's a very good outcome. I think it has to do with the money that Biden put towards the Army Corps of Engineers and restructuring some areas. I think those are actually pretty good cards considering. I mean, yeah, it's destiny. Yes, you have storms coming, destiny. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, there's going to be flooding, but you also have this incredible proactive energy moving in from the feds that it seems to indicate new work projects based on science and not on politics. This is science. Yeah. They're going to have, this is very aggressive. Look at that Ace of Swords over the issue of waters, healing waters. I'm going to go ahead and predict that in the next couple of years with these types of cards and with these building cards moving into position into the 8th house, look at that, that we're looking at massive government overhauling of infrastructure to protect certain areas, low-lying areas. I'll be honest with you, these cards looking the way that they are, it could have been a lot worse. I think we are really going to invest in protecting ourselves, and it's really going to make it a lot less terrible than it could have been. Yeah, a lot of work lay ahead, but that's jobs also, which is also what Biden had talked about. More jobs for engineers, more contracts, etc. This is feds coming in. Great, Delilah Gillis. I'm glad that we talked about that. What is the takeaway from all of it? The takeaway from all of it is that, you know, people, you can have cute, funny little people who act as politicians. They're great at debate, but the bottom line is you want to hire somebody to do a job like be a president who actually knows what they're doing. Certain politicians have made some funny jokes about global warming, but look where we're at. In the end, what we really need is people in DC that are competent. We don't need a dynasty. The great irony is that John Adams was part of a dynasty. John Adams, John Quincy Adams, which was the very thing he wanted. He don't make my family. Oh, I'm an Adams. No, power unrestrained. No, I am but a simple farmer, right? I'm Farmer John. It's very dangerous, right? Then you can get you create little royals, right? Whether it's in the music industry, the new money, right? Okay, let's see about global warming regulations and how it's going to affect America in the future. Oh, there's a missing submarine that vanished in North Atlantic, taking 5 people down to the wreck of the Titanic. Okay, I can check that. I just feel like Joe Biden is so strong. I just feel like this administration, the feds, NATO, he made us so strong that it's just, I don't think anything can take down this administration. It's so, Russia is very weak compared right now. I mean, there were 40,000 Wagner units. Now 30,000 left. There are 10,000 left now. So we are just come across energetically as very strong. This administration is just so strong. And the opposition may be jealous or frustrated, but the immediate position, new regulations, is what Joel is asking about. 6 of Wands moving into 7th house, which would be the immediate environment. So the immediate environment of this current administration is we are winning and we are moving towards a trajectory of winning regarding this issue of regulation over the next 6 months. It goes back to what Joe Biden had said. We have to phase out oil by 2030. No more making oil cars. So there's no market for it. People don't want it anymore. Right? 6 of Wands. So he's very confident. Do you think that Joe Biden having such confident cards when it comes to the environment, environmental policies, work, regulation, etc., how do you think the opposition would feel? We feel great about it, right? But the opposition might not feel great about it. Also, the opposition is bad weather, right? The opposition is the hurricane. The hurricane is the opposition. So what's the hurricane card? Knight of Swords, right? So you have victory over the issue of global warming, but the mega storms, right, is the opposition. For those people who are just learning the cards, this is a wind card and a violent card. When you think about all of the cards, and if you think about like traditional Chinese medicine, you have 5 elements. This is the element of wind. And you can have a disruption of wind where you actually get a medical condition like a headache. In Chinese medicine is called a headwind. Too much wind, when it's windy and dusty and you get allergies and then you get a headache, that's called a headwind in Chinese medicine. So it's when things get stirred about and start making trouble. This is why it's often referred to as the hurricane card, right? So those winds. Remember also when I've gone into altered state and done remote viewings, I'm struck by the wind. I keep saying these winds, right? I throw myself into the future. And what do I come back with? It's so windy. The hope and the fear from this administration's perspective is the destruction caused by global warming, but specifically, again, the destruction caused by wind. Grief. Final outcome, healing is being offered. Let's see about the technology, though. Such a good question, Joel. I'm so glad we never talk about this stuff, and we really should. I'm glad we're talking about it. I can't stress enough how successful this administration is. And the other thing is he's very, very close to the guy who works in transportation, Pete Buttigieg. I'm telling you, he is grooming Pete Buttigieg to become the president. Pete Buttigieg is his kid. He adopted Pete. That's what it looks like. I know it sounds crazy. These two, there are meetings going on between transportation and Joe Biden that the public doesn't know anything about. He trusted Buttigieg. That's why he gave Buttigieg such a big position, because all of transportation has to be overhauled by 2030. And it's a big, big job. And you also have to think in terms of just safety and infrastructure. And he knew that he could trust this guy. But he also knew that he was training and prepping this guy to eventually probably take over and become a president someday. He really thinks that Pete Buttigieg may be going into the Senate and then eventually being brought up to be the president. That's really, Biden thinks this guy has what it takes. And that's not just hyperbole. He really, you can see here 6 months success going forward over the administration regarding changes to the environment. The opposition is trying to hold on to the money. You know, with that hoarder's card, remember 9 of Pentacles has an aspect of hoarding and greed. Who do you think that's going to be? It's probably going to be Congress, because Congress holds the money. They're not happy. They want to hold the money. You're spending too much, even though we have to do this. The other opposition is the wind, right? And the hoarding of money and assets, probably from Congress. The hope and the fear, again, grief, or the fact, 4 of Swords, that nothing will be done. Final outcome, this is Pete Buttigieg's card. That King of Pentacles I keep seeing that shows up. It's been showing up for a couple of years now. And then when I did a toss on Buttigieg, it fell on Buttigieg. I think that's Buttigieg. And Buttigieg heads transportation. In the mind of this administration, when I put this guy in that massive position, and all of what we're doing is jobs, environment, and infrastructure, that is all we are trying to do here while simultaneously protecting our democracy, right? In my mind, this guy and what he's doing in our relationship and what he could become, and me watching him and our whatever, I'm thinking this guy's got a hell of a future with me. Also, if you're asking about the 4 cardinal points energetically, and it goes back to this idea of energy or angels, angels in Kabbalah are not like sitting there with little wings and harps. It's more energies or forces that exist in the universe. When we think about cardinal energies, we think about archangels. When you're thinking about the cardinal force that falls over the intention or mission of this individual, he stands with Archangel Raphael, which is very, very interesting. They say each of us has a mission that's protected. We are picked one archangel specific at birth that oversees our mission. For him, he stands with Raphael. So that's also interesting. So in terms of how he's perceived, Buttigieg is perceived as, that's the same card you would get with a shaman, somebody whose job is medicine or care, health. So he's being perceived of as someone whose work is done in a capacity of health. Isn't that interesting? The green economy, yeah, which is also seen. But it's interesting that it's a sick country, right? It's a sick planet. And it's not Archangel Michael with Buttigieg's card. It's Archangel Raphael, which is a doctor's card, right? I often will get Raphael. I have a painting of Raphael in my home because it's supposed to be associated with doctors, healing. It's interesting. There appears to be a missing deep sea craft. It was headed towards the Titanic. Thank you, Twitter bug. So we have a missing sub. What'd you say, 40 hours of oxygen left? Let's try and locate any HCRV practitioners here? You guys want to try and help me? Let me see. Where's the submarine? I'm a little confused. Who were the people that were going into the submarine? Oh, hi, Tuppy Joe. Good to see you. Thank you for your membership. They were billionaire was on board. Somebody's in control of this situation. It's a financial disaster. A money contract is no longer going to happen. That's what I can find out. I have no idea. There was an accident with a vehicle. They will be located. And as a result of this accident, this must have been a business venture of some type, because I'm seeing people, the British billionaire. Well, unfortunately, the British billionaire, they'll probably get rescued, but this contract is over. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay, so here's the ship. Some kind of a crack that causes it to hit the base. It can't move, but you can see the crash. Oopsie daisy. Tower. Magician would indicate that there's some kind of an accident, but they feel they may be able to gain control. That's not a good sign, though. I got to be honest with you. We will be able to find them. Look at that. Slow going, though, possibly due to visuals. Look at this, though. Final outcome was weird. The cards fell out with an inverted 3 of Pentacles. No contract, no money, Page of Pentacles, August, growth, tension. I think this was some kind of business deal, and it fell through as a result of this. I'm not seeing physical death. It was 4 or it was more? It was only 4? Okay, let me check again. It had a finance. He was an investor, because there's something about pulling investment. Thank you, guys. What I can find out is that this deal is off. There it is again. There's a submarine. This contract is over. Same thing, pulling the money. This was a financial investment, and they're pulling the money. 7 of Wands. They're fighting to get out, so they're alive. They're waterlogged. They're trapped on the surface, and they can't move, and they're stuck. They have to get a distress signal and get out of there. They're alive. Get me the hell out of here. Seven of Swords, flee like a thief. I think they can still get rescued, but man, talk about a nightmare when you're trying to get somebody to invest in your company. Something like that happens. Of course, you're not going to. Yeah, no. The contract with that guy is over. This deal is off. Look at this violence on the ship, a violent event on the ship. This is a ship's card, violent event. It's a ground card and it's female, and ships are usually female, so I'll often use Queen of Pentacles for a ship. But that Knight of Swords over it, not good. The other in opposition, close exam, Four of Pentacles, the microscope. So they're following what would be most likely the trajectory the craft took. Magician, they're confident they will find them, even though it's a vast terrain. Hopes and fears. Look at this. Get us the hell out of it. Seven of Wands, trapped. 10 of Pentacles, a money, secret, family, dynamics. But look at this. Fleeing like a thief, goodbye, hanging it up. There's a very good chance that they will be rescued, but this does not bode well for any future financial dealings. I mean, isn't that a billionaire? You could have died down there. You could have died down there. Well, this contract is over. That's what you're worried about? Yeah, I think they just got stuck. Some kind of damage. They went too low on the ground surface, and they wound up with an injury on the southwest portion of the vehicle. So then they got stuck and damaged, and now they're dragging along the floor. And so they're going to have to get rescued. But nobody appears to be injured. Yeah. Okay. Typical billionaire. I'm not going to give you any money. This rinky-dink thing. Get us the hell out of here. Locate our position, and I will. That's what it feels like. Okay, what else do we have going on here? Oh, Blinken's in China. You know, China's an interesting thing to connect to because they can't continue to be isolated and survive financially. Oh, Tani's here. I'm going to be doing an interview. If you have any questions for Tani about LB health of trans, if you yourself are trans or know someone who's trans who needs a therapist to help with all of that, that individual will be Tani Acosta. I'm actually going to be interviewing her. She was out of the country, though. What are you doing, Pat B? What are you doing, Tani? Anyway, could you please reach out to me? We got to choreograph our little interview. It's a lot of strange ideas people have about trans people and strange ideas. And Tani is a lovely woman and a therapist, and she thinks she can help you. She thinks she can help. I believe in her too. Yes, we think we can unconfuse some people. Yeah, so text me, Tani. Okay, I do want to see this. Blinken in China. They want them out of. Look, they can't say that because Russia's an ally, but they would love to participate in the rebuild. Mm-hmm. A lot of progress was made. I'm blinking. I'm in. That was fast. We're very happy with how the meeting is going. This is the press conference that hasn't happened yet. We're very happy. We feel very confident about how the meetings has been going on. You'll be hearing that in the next couple of days. Tremendous progress made. Well, we need to both humble ourselves. The truth of the matter is it really is good for America to have healthy trade with China. They don't trust us. They don't trust us. There's a feeling like they're scared of us. They don't trust us. They don't know what we're doing. There's a real feeling of caution on the part of China regarding the United States. Part of it has to do with issues of power. I don't know why she would feel this way. I don't know enough about the dynamics. You may know more than I do. Blinken, we feel very positive, a lot of progress. China's response to the United States, cornered, afraid to go to jail, threatened, beaten up. This is very unusual. It goes back to China not wanting it to be public information that they are in really bad shape. There's a lot the general public doesn't know about just how bad it is right now. China is going under. Taking our power and building those contracts with other companies could cause China to go belly up. You have to realize how many contracts they have all over the world. They need this deal with the United States. At the same time, they can't admit to how bad it is with them losing contracts with the United States is devastating to China. Nightmare. You've really screwed us over. This is why she was calling Biden, because Biden was going over to other countries like Taiwan to give contracts. You have no idea what's going on over here in China. There's a lot we can't say, but dang, it's bad. And this is only making it worse. This is Xi's card. Is he a fire sign? He always presents as so damn stubborn. President. It's very embarrassing. Okay, this is not public information. China has done something that has infuriated the West to such an extent that we punish them by cutting brutally major contracts with China. Some of it had to do with spying, etc. If China does not make amends, excuse me, and give retribution for what they've done with the United States, we will flush our relationship with them down the toilet. We don't need them. It's very tough. You know, Biden doesn't want a conflict with Xi. That's true. But he also doesn't need his crap. Hanged man, hanging contracts up. You either are going to have to come back to the United States, to the negotiating table with goodwill, or you're going to have to find someone else to do business with. We want to see some kind of retribution on your part, China. Right? What? What are you doing? Right? We're coming at China. We're cutting every contract. They're getting. You're already in serious financial trouble. You've lost your contracts, COVID. You're being penalized for spying. Make it right. Penalties, sanctions, cornered taxation, right? Making it right, justice, payment. There is some financial deal. We squeezed China. Here's one theory. Our real estate, we keep raising interest rates to bust China. We want China out of American real estate. So Americans don't like it. They don't totally understand it, why they keep raising interest rates, why they get to bust China, to get them out, to get them to dump their US real estate. That's one theory. The more we raise, the harder we make it for them at a point when their international contracts are collapsing, your investments in Zillow and Remax and everything else are going belly up. You sell. We keep busting them. We keep raising the interest rates. And so you now have this, and then cutting their contracts with the United States. So the only way they're going to be able to get back in our good graces is restitution. You see the guys holding a scale to balance a justice. They're in trouble with this administration. They're in a lot of trouble with this. I don't know what they did. I'm assuming it's a spying accusation. But whatever they did, Biden is taking it very, very seriously, to the point where we will have no relationship with China if necessary. We don't need you at all. I mean, this is really an attitude of, we don't need your crap. What? It would never enter my mind that you would do that. Right? Hey up. Hopes and fears. This is She's card, right? Is he an Aries? He is, right? What sign is she? Can somebody look it up? Look at that. She, 3 of Swords. I don't know. I don't like to see any countries having this kind of energy. I think that we can tentatively have a relationship with China, but from their perspective, this is a nightmare, whatever we happened. You can see here, Biden's not kidding. They're under investigation. Look at that. Whatever they did, the spying or whatever, damn, Biden's a badass. Look at him. He's got the investigation going on. I don't need you at all, hanging it up. Tremendous growth. Look at She's cards. Paying you back to right or wrong we've committed. Heartbroken is she. I don't think we'll ever find it. I truly believe part of what's going on with the feds right now, you see the banks going down, the China connection between China and mainland China and the bank in San Francisco. It's looking like they are intentionally trying to break China's hold on U.S. banking and real estate. It's the best way to describe it. Questions about that? Brutal, huh? Kind of brutal. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could never be a politician. I could never do what Joe Biden's doing. I mean, talk about a huge responsibility. Yeah. I think we'll do one more and then we'll call it a day. Joel Tilson. Yeah, didn't that look like a business deal gone? This contract, what were they thinking of doing? They were going to have it be a wealthy tourist thing where you could, instead of doing a cruise, you get to do a cruise of the Titanic, and this was going to be a maiden voyage. Well, that didn't work out. That's what it looks like. Some kind of contract for wealthy tourism that went belly up with a very angry billionaire on board. Very embarrassing. You love your Iran. Well, good people in Iran. Let's hope the Ayatollah retires. Where they sell our assets back to us, that's ultimately, isn't that really the conversation? But what's the problem with that? I think that, yeah, that's a great conversation. Let's talk about it, Rose. What's the problem with busting China's hold on U.S. real estate? And how small Chinese business people got pulled under, couldn't hold on to they're starting to lose their real estate. What's the problem with that? Anybody here own property, bought high because the Chinese bought up all the land, and so one minute you're buying a house that's worth $80,000, now it's $200,000. Then it's $300,000, then it's $400,000. You think, great, I'm going to make a lot of money. And then the Chinese, desperate for cash, go belly up. And then what happens to the housing market? Yeah, let's take a look at it. I think it's a good question. Rose blue. Let's look at you guys have some good questions today. Let's look at the question about well, that's the thing, Judith. We owe money to China, but they have committed so many crimes according to those records, including illegal spying. One of their ground zero patients, we're pretty sure now the evidence is coming out that it was a lab leak and it was an infected doctor because they found patient zero. So, I mean, good if we can negotiate a better deal with China. Does that mean that maybe we can get some of our debt? I mean, it looks like that's what they're going to have to do. I mean, I don't. That would be my interpretation. You know, I want to check this with Rose Blue and just check the housing market. It's a nice idea, right? Oh, good. They're gonna dump their real estate, but what's the problem with that? You're gonna have another housing. Could it cause another housing crash? I don't know. Housing crash. It's just a feeling of confusion from China's perspective. They don't know what we're trying to do. Are you trying to cause us to go bankrupt? Why do you keep raising interest? We're trying to slow down the price of housing, which is rising at insurmountable rates because of foreign investing. That's part of the problem. Ice King. They're very serious about this. This is no empathy. This is logic. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it because it's logical, partly to get debt. But when they talk about inflation, part of the inflation is foreign investing, caused by foreign investing. China's response, complete confusion. It's almost like they're confused about what we're doing. This is looking a lot like we are severing our relationship with this country, and it's really bad. It's bad. Possible future. I knew that was going to happen. If we prove that then we're talking international courts and even more legal action. And with the Six of Pentacles, that's retribution. The courts with she, there's she again. See what I mean? What sign is she? Is he April? He's a Gemini? Man, he must have a Leo rising or something. He always presents as a King of Wands. He doesn't act like an Aquarian. I don't think he's rational at all. I mean, he acts like a temperamental guy who has ego issues, and he often presents as King of Wands. He's going to be lifetime ruler of China. I mean, come on. And this is supposed to be what, communism? That doesn't make sense. So that's a King of Wands is territorial. Also, he wants space. With the staff, he's got, you'll often see wands when there are territory disputes, right? We're gonna win. Our military is very strong. U.S. in seventh position from our perspective, strong military, victorious. They're going to have to make nice. Seven of Cups. The courts, attempts to make nice. The courts. She, attempting new partnerships, international global partnerships. She. It's also West Coast, so it would be west to him, right? Or it would be our west, or it would be Pacific. So Pacific is U.S. Pacific. Pacific, importing Pacific would be to the west, would be us. So there's a lot there. Well, San Francisco is also Pacific Northwest, has a strong Chinese presence in terms of trade. This card, It's going to take a long time for us to have a healthy relationship with China with those cards, unfortunately. Yeah. He has he always presents this to me. He doesn't. Aquarius would be King of Swords, rational, reasonable. He doesn't present as that. He presents as territorial and irrational. King of Wands. Yes, China's being squeezed. And that is another wand card, because remember, when you're looking at territory and space, that's what wands can be associated with. Seven of Wands is defending your territory when you're losing space. Same with Ten of Wands, right? Losing space, right? Those are space issues. We'll see that a lot with wands. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Have a great rest of the evening. And I guess we will see you in class if you are an empath healer tomorrow at 6 p.m. Be sure and bring your book, Hands of Light. And if you can read up to pages, 181, that would be awesome. Because we are going to be, I believe, doing lecture 5. So we're halfway through the course. That's exciting. All right. See you all tomorrow. Bye. Thank you.